Good day. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole, and I would like to share a couple of exercises with you that you do to play with yourself, play with your mind to help us get ourselves in a more therapeutic state where we can perceive things a little different and rock and roll with this ascension, looking at ourselves differently, a way to step outside the box and allow ourselves to grow. So, this one exercise I'm sharing with you, the first one is how to begin to allow ourselves to speak to ourselves and what the possibilities are that it could lead to. Now, when I first started doing this, it's quite scary and it can get pretty weird and funny, interesting. It has a lot of different emotions go with discovering self and listening to the higher voice. And so, when I first started out years ago, I wasn't really sure how to identify my own inner voice as strongly as I know it now, to be able to depend and trust it. So I thought I would be able to share this process with you, just one little snippet of what that might sound like, so that you could perhaps try it yourself or be able to identify more of yourself in it. And that's how I learned, was from other people sharing with me in their own way. So here we go. Psst, psst. Who are you? I am you. I've been here since the beginning of time. But I'm me. Exactly. Okay. So I'm me, talking to me, and I've been here since the beginning of time. Exactly. And tell me how I got here. Like anything else. Just be. Exactly. Aha. No shit. Really? Check out the cow. If you're real, how do I know you're real? Well, you could say I'm your higher self, your other self, a different part of self. What I need you to do is check out why you have that corn on your toe. You want me to check out why I have a corn on my toe. Yeah. Just check it out. Really, it'll be interesting. Learn to trust yourself and your inner voice. Why do you have that corn on your toe? Go Google it. Now I know I'm tripping. Go Google why I have a corn on my toe. Find out about discoloration, hardness. You might find you want to look into massage and reflexology. If you're me, how do I know I can trust you? How do I know I can trust you? It's reflective. Intent. What is it that you want? What is it that you want? Whatever it is you want. That's what you're going to get. Alright, so you're telling me when I can trust myself. I can trust myself. Exactly. Aha. Isn't that something? Sure enough. Now, you know I can't tell anybody about this, right? This sounds totally insane. Only because the world is insane. And this is what you truly are. Energy is expansive. Energy never dies, it only transfers. So you can always talk to your expansive self if your intent is to speak with the expanded part of self. Boy, that sounds really simple in the way you say it. Your intention is for it to be simple. That's why I said it. So how am I supposed to explain this to other people? You don't. Other people explain this to you. All is self. Other body. Expansive. The macro, micro of it all. Like the body and the Kabbalah, the tree of life. Like the body and the body clock. Like the body and the zodiac. Like the body and the sound wave. Chakras, light code frequencies. Start out looking at your toes. But it's all in a grain of sand. It's all the same thing. Understanding. It all leads back to self. It all leads back to trusting self. And what is your intention? How is your perception? What are you zeroing in on? Therefore, what you show someone is only what they themselves can understand. Like a magnet or a projectile, honing in on like-minded, like-wide frequencies. I aim to talk with myself and all the self, whether internal or external, whether here or there, just be. And it all ends up reflective, a mirror of a more expansive or minor state of being. And the only way we can see it is just to allow ourselves to be. So, go check out your toe. And that's how I started, and this voice spoke to me. Regina's rabbit hole. I'm out. As if I was ever totally in, because energy is expansive, and we can always call on the more of it all. That more that's attached to the greater expansive part of ourselves, our ancestors, the planetary grid, all the knowledge that was previously there through intent. Much love to you. I'm out. Okay. Another exercise I do with my mind is the push. Okay. This one is a little more difficult. All right. I was in dance class. Very self-conscious about my appearance, how I plug into other people. I think I shared this before, this story somewhere. And so putting on a dance leotard and bouncing around with a whole bunch of younger, very skinny people was a bit intimidating. And in American culture, to allow myself to put my ego deep into my pocket and do that was a really good exercise, and it's the push. Once I was able to use the critical voice, balance myself, and just be, and I was able to see the areas where I needed work, start to push the boundaries in the background of those messages in the mind. And so where it said I shouldn't, or dared me, and I thought I wouldn't, I did it. Just like going to college after being a housewife for years and feeling like I wouldn't fit into that community. I pushed those limitations in my mind and did it anyway. When that teacher said don't take a full set of classes and I took 4, I took 5, I pushed and I did it anyway. Pushing the limitations that other people have projected onto me, that I have indoctrinated into my mind. Pushing the bricks apart, knocking the floorboards out and doing it anyway. Like, I suppose, like going on a roller coaster. I hate roller coasters. I do not like going on roller coasters. But I have done it even though I don't want to do it. I ain't going to do that no more. But to me, life is like a roller coaster. And there's other ways to get that sensation. There's other ways to make that push in a more emotional and mental way. And that's to push the boundaries and limitations that we feel other people will put on us. I was not supposed to be a dancer at my size or age. But there I was in dance class. And you see me doing dance videos. But it was more of a spiritual thing that I was getting at, a healing, more so than an external thing to make me feel beautiful or cool or sexy or attractive or to get attention or to fit in to the dance community. None of those things, I'm not sure if I've done any of those. But I have, and I do plug into source energy and my creator, and I love that. And I was only able to do that because I pushed those bricks out. I pushed the limitations in my mind that said, you can't. A matter of fact, now, don't make light of this stuff. I'm talking about some core stuff, although it may seem simple. Being a woman, hear what I say, in American culture, where image has been made into a deity, into God, and that youth, aging, and over the hill thing. And I was already at college. I had already pushed the limitations to my little envelope. What did I think I was doing? But there I was. Here I'm saying it again, in dance class. How could I push myself any further? Well, I was wearing my wig in class. Due to no fault of my own, I have alopecia. That's hereditary, early female balding. Since I was in my early 20s, I started to lose my hair and messing with those chemicals, trying to keep up with the beauty, being beautiful, and the braids and the weaves and stuff in the salon did not help at all. But I was stylish, sexy, and I thought I was free. And that's been an internal battle and a message that I wanted to share for a long time. To have to deal with the repercussions of my actions, running behind beauty products, and fashion. So, my hair was the last thing that I cared about, the longevity of it. And my own truer nature was a lesson that I learned from that when I was a youth and brought into my adulthood. Standing there in the dance class dressing room with these young women whom I wanted to make the most positive impression I could on. Well, how do I make an impression without making an impression? I'm just going to be, because I can't be anything else. That's detected and picked up in a most awkward way, and I'm already awkward, so we can't go there. All I can do is just be, and be the best me that I can. How do I do that? Is to be the truest me that I can, and that's where these exercises come in, to center. What I did was, all that heat dancing around in that dance class, sometimes my head would get hot, so I learned to put my scarf on. But why should I hide from other women and other girls who no one told me, or maybe no one knew what would happen to me. I didn't have other women to show me the things like that regarding beauty and inner character and things like that. So I took my wig off to confront that fear of what they would think about my hair in the dance class, a dressing room, and put on my scarf. And I felt so much better getting to that core part of myself, not being afraid. And to this day, when I feel intimidated and women start flashing beauty around regarding hair and things like that, the best sister and friend and woman that I can be next to you is to be able to take my wig off and look at myself in the mirror and still smile and feel absolutely beautiful and chosen by the Creator, which I am. So, to get to that core, there was no other thing to do than to do it. And that's how I did it, was to push those confines, those bricks out of those boxes of perceptions that are projected onto us, what we should be, what we should not be, regarding age or gender or income, what I should and should not know because of certain dispositions. What the Creator gives to you and what we find within ourselves outside of the constructs that others build for us is the godsend. It is the beauty. It is the lovely. It is the knowledge. It is worth living for. Those things that the essence brings forth to us, that comes from within us, that we share with one another. Not those boxed dinners, those boxed things that we give to one another that are not real or true. Don't bring out our true nature and make us all like tiki-talks, and they're all just the same. You know, the Russian doll thing, and like we're all just repeating the same style, you know, each one with a little bit more battery juice than the other to be able to manipulate other people into becoming that same smaller carbon copy of themselves to hold the structure into place. And so you are the bravest to be able to push, to be able to do these exercises and push these bricks out, to bust the edges and to move the confines of the mind away, is the best gift that I think that we can give to ourselves. Because the person next to me is you. And I'm the person next to you. And my perception means nothing if our reality doesn't change with each other. And that's where the expansion is. What I think means nothing if I have no one to connect with and relate it to. So these exercises are a way that I've been able to get some expansion and heal myself in many ways that I'm grateful for it. Although they didn't bring fame or fortune, they did bring a level of freedom that I connected my Creator with much more easily, and with you on a more natural level. And so I'm hoping that we all get there. Sharing these tools with you. And this is Regina's Rabbit Hole with Siren Buddha Medicine. Much love to you. Okay, so this other one I've used for years. I learned it to use a critical voice, to use my own critical voice in a more therapeutic way rather than be afraid of what someone else might say. This has helped me tremendously. Become someone else. Become the critic. Allow self to say the most unpleasant, uncomfortable, true in a sense of there's always another side of a reflection. If we think something is beautiful, someone else might think it's utterly corny and ridiculous. And to allow ourselves to be able to have that is the critical voice. To understand that and be able to sit with that, to know that. To know and to look at one's life and to be able to see that it will not be agreeable to everyone, that not everyone will be able to perceive the same qualities, lessons, or situations in the same way that you do. And to be able to take that voice, that critical negative voice of the things you think they may say, and attach it to the situation in meditation and use it for therapeutic value. For instance, I used to be 287 pounds. And every girl wants to be beautiful, right? And so you go shopping for clothes. You ask that friend, or maybe even the salesperson, does this look good? Do you think this would look attractive on me? And they look at you and say, absolutely. But let's use the critical voice here. What would other people think of me wearing this? Now, mind you, that what you really feel is the most ultimate important thing. Not what someone else thinks. We're getting out of the social programming, so we don't really care about what someone else thinks. But we are going to incorporate that into our decision not to care about what other people think, as we just be. And we're going to allow that into our consciousness and the knowing, to know what it is that we're not going to heed to or address or bend to. So you don't know what it is that you're not heeding or bending to if we're not allowing ourselves to even see it. So I might perceive that this outfit doesn't look as attractive, that's going to show all my rolls and stuff like that, which I don't particularly want at 287 pounds. However, in today's age, heftiness or big girls seem to be fashionable, and some guys like that. So that's another voice, is to know that there is a size for everyone, each one to its own, and everybody likes something. There's a fit for everybody. So is that the type of person that I'm trying to attract? Is the type of person that thinks that my rolls look good at 287 pounds in spandex, in a spandex dress? I don't know. Am I trying to do that? Use your critical humor here. I could be. You know what I'm saying? It depends on what it is that I'm looking for. Okay? Some guys are $150 and they like somebody that's about 400. It's maybe a fetish. So I asked the sales lady, will I look good in this dress, in this outfit? Do you think this will look good on me? And she says, yeah, sure. But I'm looking at her and I'm like, yeah, she wants to make some money. She needs that sale. She knows doggone well that I really want somebody to tell me that, perhaps take the time with me and perhaps say, well, maybe this would be more better. Give me an option, Let me be glad that I came to that particular store and, make me feel, sell me something, but sell me something, let me know that you're helping me get something more appropriate. When we typically go to buy something, it's an emotional exchange anyway. Sometimes we're just trying to feel better about ourselves. And it's a little therapeutic to have somebody spend the time, not just to say, oh, yeah, and try to get the sale. But, maybe this one over here will be a little better because of your body shape or your size, or I think this one will be more comfortable. This one would be more appropriate or ladylike. Or I think this would be prettier on you. Or this one would be sexy. Or this one is you. There's many things that a person could say. So when we're being perceptive and we're doing this exercise, allow the critical voice to come in, and also allow the accepting voice to come in. Allow yourself to say, you know what? Really look at that particular item and look at yourself and look in your eyes and say, yeah, this is me. This is my therapeutic buy outfit. This is the thing that thing that I want, that I'm going to bring home, and I know that I'm going to enjoy it, and it's appropriate for me, and it feels good. And there was times that I used to go shopping and not be able to use my critical voice of self, not be able to weigh myself, not be able to really have a good experience. I would go home and I would have things that other people would buy in my bag and put it on, and none of it was me. And I just, that feeling was awful. That's one of the reasons why I think that clothing should be more personal than it is, as a way of self-expression. Okay, so that's just one exercise of ways that we can use the critical voice as a meditation to look at ourselves, to look at myself and say, I like myself just the way that I am, and be able to laugh and giggle and jump on a rodeo horse. To be happy with yourself no matter what size you are. And to be knowing that you're working towards something, whether it's the style of my clothes and the size that I was, or working toward what I felt would be a more healthier me, or more healthier look for me, which was to lose weight. About 150, 130, I don't know. I don't weigh myself anymore. Now I'm too skinny for most people, for my height. And so I've learned to ignore people, When I started losing the weight, all of a sudden, I was looking sickly, and people were asking me questions that I felt were embarrassing and inappropriate. Well, what are you doing? Are you sick? Don't lose weight. You don't have any butt. You ain't got no boobs. And I started to feel like a stick man. I was even jokes thrown at me. So what are you supposed to do? Hover in this perfect space that you feel like other people would have you be in? No. Those critical voices are important to be able to, in a safe space, I can address those voices and put myself in a happy balance. Look at myself in the eye and say, you know what? Your skinny little goofy butt is fine just the way you are. Yup. Because that's just the way the Creator made me. And if He gave me the good stuff, who's anybody else to tell me that I can't have it in this package because they don't like the package? Huh? Get out of here. Gotta be kidding me. And that's the voice that you use to talk to yourself and bring the balance. And so these are just two ways that, I use meditation and think of myself in that way. Okay. Hopefully that helped you. The critical voice. Now I know at first glance some of this may seem exterior, but it's actually not. I've learned that those things that we focus on that are external are usually to hide the bigger parts of ourselves that are hurting, need correction or healing, that are on the inside. And by removing the Band-Aid or the cloak that these exterior things provide, it's a bit easier in our culture to get at the internal fruits, or the sore part, the part that needs healing, and address it without all the fluff and tinsel and shiny stuff around that thing that is wounded or needs addressing. Addressing, but not a Band-Aid. Attention, but only so it could scab up and heal. Not addressing to cover it and keep it moist, tucked away. Because that's still festering. So what I wanted to ask myself with these things is, and you, is there anything that I can change today, that I want to do differently, that I want to try, that I haven't, that I won't because of the way I feel the next person might look at me, the way that I might appear on the outside to someone? Is there something that I could remove that I'm wearing or doing on the outside? Even if it's just temporary, so that I can address a more complete self, so I can obtain a more complete self. Even to take a look and see how I really, sometimes I just want to see how I really work, how I really truly tick. You might want to throw that back on and be like, nah, I can't do that, boss. That's just something that's not me. So we don't know until we try. And the object is to get away from the fear of even attempting to work out the things within us that feel uncomfortable. Is I've learned that when we do, we open up a whole another world of vibration that connects to the frequency next to us by allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, to try these new and different things to address the incompleteness in order to get complete, in order to feel whole. We have to see and feel the holes. So this is Regina's Rabbit Hole. Some of the tools that I've used to help me grow and assess my personality and how I'm jiving with those around me. It's a way to gauge self. The critical voice, the therapeutic voice. Well, it turns into the therapeutic voice. Okay, so what am I getting at? Well, maybe your issue is not the exact same as mine. And that's great, because that means that you have the ability to tweak these tools. And that's what they're for. To be able to use them, utilize them in your own life. The question is there something that I could be doing different? Is there something that I need to change in me so that I can move things around in my personality and my aura and the way that I'm looking at things in my life? Is my perception off? How do I get over fears? Self-reflection, I found, is a way to safely do this. In order to plug in to the person next to us in a more balanced way. Mutually beneficial way. I find that when I get rid of a lot of my idiosyncrasies, insecurities, when I can center myself more, and at least where I can admit who I am and what I feel like more when I'm more in touch with myself, I can't blame all that stuff and project it onto other people. So I'm more grounded and ready, able to be a shareable wave. Okay? So hopefully you can get something out of these tools. Also, I do have a psych background, not just in therapy, but also behavioral psychology studies on psychology, along with my personal experience and building tools, allows me to feel a bit more comfortable sharing these things with you. There is a method to my madness, so to speak. And so, you let me know what you get out of these. Much love to you and yours. I'm out.